Alright guys, I wanted to do a follow-up video to the previous video I did, which was me setting up my new Harvey table saw. In the video, when I was lining up the measuring tape, there was actually a mistake in the instruction manual, which I'll show you here in a minute. The instruction manual is telling you to line up. Actually has these two indicators backwards. It has the low side on this side and the high side on this side. And when I went to install the original tape, which is right here, it was like I was wondering why it was off. And then when I looked at the manual, and then when I looked at some of the videos online, I saw that it was installed correctly. So I did contact Harvey. And they were aware of the problem previously, and they went ahead and sent me a new tape measure pretty quickly too, free of charge. I didn't have to pay for that, and they're going to work on correcting the manual. Okay, as I mentioned, I was going to show you in the instruction manual where the mistake was, and this is actually, if you own one of these saws, it's on page 14. But if you look carefully here, and I'm going to bring this up to the camera, as you can see here, they have the indicators for the rip gauge or the table or the scale backwards. They have the low side on this side, and it should be on that side, and vice versa. So anyway, Harvey is working on making the correction to that in the instruction manual. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and install the new rip scale. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and raise the blade. I have the fence in the high position, so we're going to calibrate for the high side first, then we're going to come back, and then we're going to calibrate for the low side. Now I've already gone through and I've made sure that the blade is square or perpendicular, and I've already gone through and did all the necessary measurements to make sure that the fence is parallel to the saw, and so forth and so on. So what I'll do now is I'm going to slide the fence over with it in the high position until it just touches the saw blade, and then I'm going to lock it down. Alright, the next thing that I'm going to do is I've got the blade raised to a certain height, or got the blade raised all the way. I got the fence all the way against the blade and locked down. Got locked down. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the tape measure or the rip scale in position. I'm going to allow for about 1/4 of an inch from the edge of the front rail here, and I'm just going to basically put some tape to secure it. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that line it up with the high scale, and the high scale should be on this side and not on this side. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, I went ahead and paused the camera. So I went ahead and got the rip scale in place. I placed it about 1/4 of an inch from the front rail here, so to speak, and I went ahead and lined it up with the high side of the pointer. And when you do line it up, you want to make sure you're looking straight down to allow for parallax, so you're not getting an inaccurate reading. So before I permanently install the rip scale to the rail, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a dry run, and I'm going to put the fence into the low side, and then check it and make sure it's lined up, so forth and so on. Okay, I've got the fence now in the low position, so I'm gonna move, once again, I'm gonna move it over so it just touches the saw blade. Lock it down, and as you can see here, through the camera, okay, as you can see here, with doing just a dry run, that the low side is actually pretty much on the 0 mark on the rip scale. So it just needs a little fine tuning. And I'll go ahead, adjust that, tighten it down, and now I'm ready to go ahead and install the rip scale. Okay, I've gone ahead and adjusted. I've gone ahead and adjusted for the low side and the high side on the fence. So the only thing left to do now is to go ahead and peel and stick the rip scale to the front rail. So I'm going to pause the camera and go ahead and take care of that. Okay, I did say that I was going to pause the camera and going in here to rip scale, but then I decided that I needed to show you this. What I'm doing to get the rip scale in place is I just put a couple pieces of clear tape or masking tape in place, and then what I'm basically doing is using a combination square, just make sure that that's the proper distance from the front rail, and then I just kind of go down the line and just peel the backing off and then stick it and checking to make sure that it's at that proper distance from the front rail. Okay, so this is exactly how I'm doing it. I've basically removed the piece of tape that I have to hold the scale in place. I just peel the backing back a little bit. Move the rip scale in position, making sure that distance, and then just work our way down the line. It's pretty simple. Okay, I went ahead and I finished installing the rip scale on the front rail here, and so I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that the fence is calibrated correctly, or make sure that it's reading correctly on the rip scale. Anyway, like I said earlier, that Harvey is well aware of this issue and they're working on correcting it. If you just purchased one of these saws and you run into an issue or a problem, give them a call. They have good customer support and they'll work with you. I have no complaints thus far with the saw. I thought their customer support is pretty good. When I ran into this issue with the rip scale, they immediately sent out a brand new one free of charge, pretty much overnight delivery. Very pleased with their customer service. So anyway, I just thought I'd post this video in case anyone ran into a similar issue. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, give me a thumbs down, leave a comment. If you get a chance, hit the subscribe button. And that's it for this video.